Well, hello there, my friend. Have you ever sat in your doctor's office, looked at your blood test results, and felt like you were reading a foreign language? All those numbers, abbreviations, and ranges, it's enough to make anyone's head spin, isn't it? Especially when you're over 65, and suddenly those little numbers on the page seem to carry so much weight. Like they're whispering secrets about your health that you just can't quite decipher. I remember feeling that way myself a few years back, staring at my lab report and wondering, what does any of this actually mean for me? You know, as we get a little wiser in years, our bodies change sometimes in ways we don't even notice right away. And that's why those routine blood tests become so important. They're like a roadmap, guiding us toward staying active, vibrant, and fully enjoying this chapter of our lives. So today, let's sit down together and talk about the 3 most important blood tests you should be getting after 6. We'll walk through what each one really tells you about your health, what those numbers secretly reveal, and most importantly, what you can actually do about them. No jargon, no overwhelm, just plain, friendly conversation. Sound good? Now, I know you might be thinking, why these 3 tests in particular? Well, after 65, our risk for certain health shifts increases. Things like heart health, blood sugar balance, or even how well our organs are communicating with each other. These tests are like your body's early warning system, giving you and your doctor a heads up before small issues become big ones. And here's the beautiful part. Understanding them puts you back in the driver's seat. You don't need a medical degree to make sense of this. You just need someone to walk you through it step by step. That's what we're here for today. So let's start with the first test, one you've probably heard of, but might not fully understand. The lipid panel. Now, I know lipid sounds like something you'd find in a chemistry textbook. But really, it's just a fancy word for fats in your blood. This test measures your cholesterol and triglycerides, and it's a superstar when it comes to keeping your heart happy and strong. But here's where it gets interesting. After 65, your cholesterol isn't just about good or bad numbers anymore. It's about context. Imagine your bloodstream is like a busy highway. LDL cholesterol, that's the bad kind, is like a delivery truck that sometimes drops off packages where it shouldn't, clogging up the roads. HDL cholesterol, the good kind, is like the cleanup crew, scooping up those packages and keeping things flowing. Triglycerides, they're like little energy cars zooming around, but if there are too many, they can cause traffic jams too. As we age, our metabolism shifts, and those traffic patterns change. That's why your doctor might look at your lipid panel differently now than they did 20 years ago. So what do your results really mean? Let's say your LDL is a bit high, maybe around 150. Years ago, that might have sent everyone into a panic. But now, research shows that for many folks over 65, a slightly higher LDL isn't always the red flag it once seemed to be. Why? Because your body uses cholesterol to build hormones and repair cells, things that are extra important as we age. Instead of fixating on that single number, your doctor will look at the bigger picture. How's your blood pressure? Do you have inflammation? Are your arteries flexible? It's like putting together a puzzle. One piece doesn't tell the whole story. But here's something you can take action on today. Triglycerides. If yours are highs, over 200 DITs, often a sign your body's struggling to process sugars and carbs efficiently. And the fix isn't complicated. My neighbor, Evelyn, who's 72, saw her triglycerides drop by 80 points in 3 months, just by swapping her afternoon cookie for a handful of almonds and taking a 15-minute walk after dinner. Small changes, big impact. And what about HDL, That good cholesterol? If yours is low below 44 men or 54 women, it's like having too few cleanup crews on that highway. But raising it isn't about eating more fat. It's about moving your body. Olive oil, fish, and even dancing to your favorite old tunes can give it a nudge. The point is, your lipid panel isn't a life sentence, it's a conversation starter with your body. Now, before we move on, let me share a quick story. My friend Arthur, who's 78, came to me last year worried because his cholesterol numbers had suddenly spiked. But when we sat down and looked closer, we realized they'd been creeping up slowly for years, he just hadn't noticed. Together, we worked on adding more fiber-rich foods like oats and beans to his meals. He makes a mean 3-bean chili now, and he started parking farther from the grocery store entrance to get those extra steps in. At his next checkup, his doctor smiled and said, "Keep doing whatever you're doing." Arthur's not just healthier, he feels empowered. And that's what this is all about. So, what's the takeaway here? First, don't let a single number on your lipid panel scare you. Second, focus on triglycerides and HDL. They're the ones you can often influence most with simple daily habits. And third, always talk to your doctor about what your specific results mean for you. They know your health history like no one else. You know, it's fascinating how much we can learn from just one vial of blood. And what's even more fascinating is how much control we still have over our health, no matter our age. But we're just getting started, because while your lipid panel tells a vital story about your heart, the next test we'll explore goes even deeper, right into your body's energy factories and fluid balance. It's called the Comprehensive Metabolic Panel, and it's like a master key to understanding how your organs are teaming up to keep you feeling strong and steady. And trust me, what this test reveals about your blood sugar and kidneys after 65 might surprise you in the best possible way. But we'll save that for next time. For now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever had your cholesterol tested? What was that experience like for you? Drop a comment below. I read every single one. Until next time, remember, your health isn't a destination. It's a journey you take one small, joyful step at a time. Take good care of yourself. You know, it's funny sometimes the most important conversations happen in the quietest moments. Like when you're sitting with an old friend over tea, and they share something that just clicks. That's how I felt when my doctor first explained the Comprehensive Metabolic Panel to me. It sounded so technical, didn't it? But really, it's like getting a backstage pass to your body's inner workings, especially after 6. Think of it as a check-in with your kidneys, your liver, your electrolytes. All those hard-working teammates keeping you balanced. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Metabolic. That sounds like dieting talk. But here's the beautiful truth. It's not about weight. It's about energy. How your body fuels itself, cleanses itself, and keeps everything humming along smoothly. And after 65, this test becomes your secret decoder ring for things like fatigue, thirst, or even those restless nights. So let's open this treasure chest together. One of the biggest gems inside. Blood sugar. But not just a snapshot, no. This test gives us your fasting blood sugar. That means how your body handles fuel after a good night's rest, when your system is calm and quiet. You've probably heard of diabetes, but what many don't realize is that after 65, blood sugar can start dancing to a different rhythm. Maybe you've noticed you feel a bit shaky if lunch is late, or unusually thirsty even when it's not hot out. That's your body whispering to you. Here's what's fascinating. The normal range for fasting blood sugar is usually 70 to 100 milligrams DL, but after 6, Doctors often watch a little more closely if it's creeping toward 110 or higher. Why? Because as we age, our cells can become a bit resistant to insulin's knock on the door. It's like the delivery guy showing up with your energy package, but nobody's answering. The sugar stays in your bloodstream, not getting where it needs to go. But here's the hopeful part. Small shifts can make a huge difference. My friend Vera, who's 68, saw her fasting sugar drop 20 points just by adding a 10-minute walk after breakfast and swapping her morning toast for a veggie omelet. No drastic diets, just gentle nudges. But the metabolic panel doesn't stop there. Oh no. It also introduces us to your kidneys, your body's silent janitors. They work day and night, filtering waste and keeping your fluids balanced. And here, two little numbers tell the tale: creatinine and BUN. Blood, urea, nitrogen. Now, creatinine isn't a word we toss around at Bridge Club, but it matters. It's a waste product from your muscles. If your kidneys are struggling, creatinine builds up like dishes in a sink after a big family dinner. What's surprising? After 65, even a slight rise in creatinine can be a signal. Maybe you're taking a medication that's hard on the kidneys. Or perhaps you've been a bit dehydrated lately. My neighbor Phil, a spry 76-year-old gardener, learned this the hard way. His creatinine was inching up, and he couldn't figure out why until he realized his blood pressure pills, combined with forgetting his water bottle on those long afternoons in the rose beds, were quietly stressing his kidneys. His solution? A bright blue water bottle he keeps by his favorite trowel, and a chat with his doctor about adjusting his meds. 3 months later, back in the safe zone. And then there are the electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, calcium. They sound like a chemistry quiz, but really, they're your body. It's a orchestra conductor. They keep your heartbeat steady, your nerves chatting, your muscles from cramping up. After 65, these minerals can get thrown off by things as simple as a change in appetite, a new medication, or even a bout of, well, let's call it traveler's tummy. Take potassium, for example. Too low. You might feel weak or get those annoying leg cramps at night. Too high. Especially if you have kidney concerns or take certain blood pressure meds. That can be risky. The fix might be as easy as tossing a banana into your oatmeal or switching from regular salt to a potassium-rich alternative. Now, I'll be honest, seeing a number outside the normal column on your report can rattle anyone. But here's what I've learned. One slightly high or low result isn't a verdict. It's a question. Maybe you had a salty meal the night before your test. Maybe you were stressed. That's why doctors often repeat tests before jumping to conclusions. Your job. Just notice. Are you feeling more tired than usual? A bit puffy around the ankles? Tell your doctor those stories, they're clues no test can capture. Which brings us to the real magic of this metabolic panel. It shows how everything's connected. Your kidneys affect your electrolytes. Your blood sugar affects your energy. It's all one beautiful, intricate system. And after 65, tending to it isn't about fear, it's about curiosity. Like tending a garden you've loved for years. So, what do we take from all this? First, your fasting blood sugar is a window into your energy factory. Keep it balanced with movement and mindful eating. Second, your kidneys adore hydration and gentle medication reviews. And third, those electrolytes. They thrive on consistency, little daily habits like sipping water, eating your greens, and chatting with your doctor about any new symptoms. But we're not done yet. Because there's one more test to explore, one that looks beyond the basics into the hidden fires that can smolder as we age. It's called the C-reactive protein CRP test, and it doesn't just measure what's happening in your body. It whispers why and what it reveals about silent inflammation after 6. Well, that might just change how you think about everything from your morning walk to your evening cup of tea. But that's a conversation for next time. For now, I'd love to hear. Have you ever had your electrolytes or kidney numbers checked? Did anything surprise you? Share your story below. We're all learning together. And if this resonated with you, give this video a thumbs up. It helps others find our little community of wisdom and wellness. Remember, my friend, your body isn't a machine to be fixed. It's a garden to be tended. Small shifts, big rewards. You know, there's something truly remarkable about getting older, isn't there? We see the world differently. We feel it differently. But sometimes, deep inside our bodies, a quiet kind of unrest can begin. One we might not even notice until it starts to whisper through our joints, our energy, or even our mood. That's where our third essential blood test comes in, my friend. It's called the C-reactive protein CRP test, and it's like having a tiny, incredibly sensitive smoke detector for your whole system. It doesn't tell you where the fire is, but it tells you if there's smoldering happening, long before you see the flames. Think of inflammation like that. It's not always a bad thing. It's your body's natural response to an injury or infection, like sending repair crews to fix a pothole. But after 65, sometimes that repair signal doesn't turn off quite as efficiently. It becomes chronic, low-level, like a campfire that never quite goes out. This silent inflammation is linked to so much more than just achy knees. It's connected to heart health, memory, even how resilient we feel day to day. And the CRP test. It's the best way we have right now to measure that hidden heat. Now, you might get two types of CRP tests. The standard one, which is great for spotting a sudden problem like an infection, and the high-sensitivity CRP, hs-CRP. For us, the hs-CRP is the real star after 65. It picks up on those much lower, simmering levels of inflammation that the standard test might miss. So, what do the numbers mean? Generally, an hs-CRP level below 1.0 milligrams L is considered low risk. Between 1.0 and 3.0 milligrams L is average risk. And above 3.0 milligrams L, that's considered higher risk. But, and this is so important, a single high number isn't a reason to panic. Like seeing smoke one morning, it needs context. Was it taken when you were fighting off a cold? Or maybe you had a flare-up of that old shoulder injury from gardening. Your doctor will look at trends over time. Here's what makes this test so powerful for us. That silent inflammation often flies under the radar. You might just feel a bit more tired than usual, or notice your morning stiffness lingers a little longer. Maybe your walks feel slightly harder. We often chalk it up to just getting older, but sometimes it's more than that. My friend Margaret, a vibrant 70-year-old who loves painting, noticed her hands felt stiff and puffy for months. Her joints ached slightly, but she thought it was arthritis acting up. Her hs-CRP came back elevated. It wasn't just arthritis. It was a sign of underlying inflammation. Together with her doctor, she looked at her habits. She realized her diet had slipped into more processed foods since her husband passed, and her sleep wasn't great. She started small, adding a daily walk in the park, swapping her afternoon crackers for walnuts and an apple, and focusing on getting to bed just 30 minutes earlier. Within a few months, her stiffness eased significantly, her energy lifted, and her next hs-CRP test back down into the low-risk range. It wasn't about a drastic overhaul. It was about gentle, consistent care for the fire within. So, what fuels this silent fire? Often, it's the little things that build up. Stress that lingers like a damp fog. Lack of deep, restorative sleep. A diet heavy in processed foods, sugary drinks, or unhealthy fats. Sitting for too long? Yes, even our beloved armchairs need breaks. Smoking, of course. And sometimes, underlying conditions like gum disease or even carrying a few extra pounds, especially around the middle. The beautiful news. You have incredible power to calm those flames. Think of these as your fire-dousing tools. Move your body gently, but regularly. You don't need marathons. A 20-minute brisk walk most days, some gentle stretching like Tai Chi or yoga, even gardening or dancing in your living room. It all tells your inflammation to simmer down. It's like giving your internal repair crews a gentle nudge to finish the job and go home. Embrace the anti-inflammatory plate. Picture your plate filled with color. Deep greens, spinach, kale, bright oranges and reds, berries, peppers, healthy fats, olive oil, avocado, fatty fish like salmon, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. Think Mediterranean style. Spices like turmeric. Try it in soups or sprinkled on roasted veggies. And ginger are like nature's little firefighters. Prioritize peaceful sleep. This is when your body does its deepest repair work. Create a calming bedtime ritual. Maybe reading, listening to soft music, or a warm bath. Keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. If worries creep in, try writing them down earlier in the evening to clear your mind. Tame the tension. Chronic stress pours gasoline on inflammation. Find your release valve. Deep breathing for just 5 minutes. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Exhale slowly for 6. Sitting quietly with a cup of tea. Listening to bird song. Calling a dear friend for a laugh. It all counts. Mind your mouth. Gum disease, periodontitis, is a major source of hidden inflammation. Flossing isn't just for your teeth. It's an act of kindness for your whole body. Keep up with those dental checkups. Stay hydrated. Water helps flush out the byproducts of inflammation. Keep a glass or bottle nearby and sip throughout the day. Looking back at our journey through these 3 vital tests, the lipid panel, the comprehensive metabolic panel, and the hs-CRP, it paints a powerful picture, doesn't it? It's not about fear or focusing on numbers as judgments. It's about awareness and empowerment. Your blood tests are like letters from your body, giving you insights into the incredible, complex, and resilient system that is you at this wonderful age. They highlight areas where a little extra care, a small shift, can make a profound difference in how you feel right now. Your energy, your comfort, your joy. Think of Arthur, lowering his triglycerides with beans. Vera, balancing her blood sugar with a walk and an omelet. Phil, hydrating to support his hard-working kidneys. And Margaret, calming the inner fire with walnuts, walks, and better sleep. These aren't medical miracles. They're choices. Choices made possible by understanding what those tests were quietly saying. So, my dear friend, as you look at your next lab report, remember this: you are not defined by a number. You are defined by your spirit, your wisdom, and your capacity to nurture your own well-being. Talk to your doctor. Ask questions. Understand what your unique results mean for your vibrant life. Make those small, sustainable changes that feel good. Celebrate the energy of a morning walk, the taste of a ripe berry, the deep rest of a good night's sleep. Thank you for sharing this time with me. If this conversation about taking charge of your health after 65 resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you'd give this video a thumbs up. It helps others in our community find this information. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. We're here to share more gentle guidance for living your fullest, healthiest life in these precious years. Most importantly, share your own journey below. Have you made a small change that boosted your energy or made you feel better? What wisdom about your health have you gathered over the years? Your story could be the encouragement someone else needs today. Until next time, remember, every sunrise brings a new opportunity to tend to the beautiful garden of your life. Nourish it, enjoy it, and thrive. Take good care.